morning. It is 7 a.m. on this wonderful sunny day. There was a huge rainstorm yesterday, and I felt inspired to share with you one of the more unhinged Tales of the Classroom episodes. And the title is From Paris with Love. Okay, so at one point I was teaching a lot of students who were in their final year, right? So students were like 17, 18 years old, and we went to Paris for a school field trip. So just for one single day, we drove to Paris. So this was like, you get up at 4 a.m., we take the bus, and you take the bus, you arrive in Paris at like 8 or 9 a.m. or something, and then you stay there all day. You leave again at about 9 p.m. You come back home around midnight. Yeah, it's definitely a spicy. Anyway, what is so special about the Paris Club is that there were strict no alcohol, but a lot of students found very creative ways to bypass it. So in Belgium we have like this brand called Appelsien, and they make like orange juice, apple juice, stuff like that. And what a lot of students do was they took high concentrated like apple liquor and they poured it in one of those bricks. So when you as a teacher, when you smelled it just smelled like, apple. And they also took like capisa, and they took a syringe. One of the students, his mom was a nurse, and she had like syringes. They sucked out the capisa, and they inserted like, they inserted additional vodka, and they smuggled in a lot of love. And I knew a lot of love. And at one point, one of the students, he was thirsty, and he said like, hey, why can you pass me the apple juice? But he didn't know that it was, very strong. And he drank like half the bottle before he was practically choking. It was like, oh damn, he took the half of the bottle. It was like, damn, what is this stuff? I was like, oh, it's a very strong apple. So at one point, we are walking around with, we are trapped. You're basically trapped in Paris because there's no way to think, oh my god, we're going to call your parents to come get you. Because, well, you're in Paris. You're all looking with the same bus. And as they passed, it only got more ridiculous. So at one point, there's this guy at Secretary, if I remember correctly. There's like a lot of stairs. And there was this guy selling an entire crate of Carlsberg beer. And one of the students, he went there. He was like, hey, how much for the crate? He was like, 20 like 20 euros. And he bought a crate of beer. And he walked around Paris with a crate of beer. And I'm talking about 24 beers in glass bottles. And when we were walking around different landmarks and stuff, and our teacher was educating us, I mean, they scolded us. They were like, dude, what are you doing? And they're like, hey, it's my money, I can buy whatever I want. But I mean, not a crate of beer, but, it's like, don't worry. The more I drink, the less this is gonna weigh, so this is just gonna get easier. And he drank a lot of beer, like every landmark that we had to stop, he just put the grade down, popped open one of the beers. I don't recall the statement, but I do vividly recall that we are passing like this beautiful, beautiful flower show. And at one point, the guy who drank all that beer, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna take the leap. Gotta piss. Obviously, the guy is drinking like 30 different beers. And as teachers, we always walk. When we are guiding our students, we always walk. There are a few teachers in the front, there are a few teachers in the back, there are a few teachers in the middle. And I was more at the back, to make sure we don't have any runaways. So at one point, he's passing this flower shop, and he stops the flower shop, and I'm walking in the back, and I'm thinking like, what the hell is this guy doing? And he was just taking a piss. So he was so drunk already, and he was taking a piss in the store outside, like with all the little plants, like a huge plant. And I go there, and I'm like, dude, what the hell are you doing? He's like, oh, sir, there is nothing better than taking a leak in Mother Nature's, environment. I'm like, dude, you are literally pissing in a plant in the store in France. Like, nature's calling. And this guy just, I told some other teachers, like, dude, what the hell do we do? And it's like, yeah, when we get back, he's gonna get very heavily sanctioned. We already informed his parents, but the parents were just laughing on the phone. I didn't hear the call though. So we walk on the beer, the crate of beer gets smaller and smaller. Yeah, obviously he's getting blackout drunk, right? He is obviously blackout drunk. And at one point, we go to the Arc de Triomphe, and the Arc de Triomphe has this like eternal flame or something. And one of our teachers is explaining everything in French and then in Dutch. And but there are obviously like some people who work there, like some guards and stuff. And they spoke. There was one of them who spoke a little bit Dutch, and then the drunk guy, he walks over to the flame, and he's like, "Sir, I have a question. What if I would piss on it? Would it still be lit? Would it still would the flame still kindle along?" And I can't tell it as funny as he did, because you have to understand the Flemish dialect, but it was so hilarious. The entire class was actually in tears, and most of the teachers were horrendously shocked, and even the guard was standing there was looking at him like, what the hell is wrong with you? But if you think that was it, oh no, but I'm better than love still have one more huge plot twist, because that guy wasn't the only guy who drank a lot. There was a lot of strong apple liquor. There was a lot of other drinks, and eventually the students got like 2 hours off, like from 7 to 9 p.m. they got off. And you could freely walk to Paris, and most of the students decided like, hey, come on, let's just get a drink at the local cafe. And they drank a lot of beer there as well. I know, because with the teachers we were walking around, and suddenly we saw like the entire group who was studying mechanical repairs, and they were all sitting in this bar with like half liters and liters of beer. And then it was almost 9 p.m., so it's a long time to ride home. And we didn't make it, but you get on the bus, and as the bus leaves, the driver announces like, hey, I hope you guys went to the toilet before, because there is no toilet here in Boston, so there is no way to use a toilet. So just imagine this: you have an entire bus with students who drank liters of beer and strong liquor with the fullest of bladders in a bus in which the toilet does not function. Oh boy. I remember vividly because I was sitting in the middle. There was this one guy, let's call him Rudy, and Rudy was mumbling like, and there was this other guy who was sitting right behind him, and he was like, you can't use the toilet, so, you know, just do what you gotta do. But Rudy was so blackout drunk, he took one of the empty bottles, so he still had like a bottle of liquor, but you know it wasn't much in it, so he just chugged it, and then suddenly from my high corner I see him like crouching over something, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And then suddenly I hear the sound of a bottle being filled, and he was pissed. Then the bus gets on a little bit of a bumpy road, so he's messing up the tires. It was disgusting, really. It was horrendous. It was horrible, but it was also beautiful. Eventually, the bus decided to do an emergency e-brake, and a lot of students, and I mean a lot of students, just stood there and next to each other. In a line. There was this huge stream of weed just going into the sewers. And the best part was at one point, Rudy runs back inside and he comes out with the bottle like one of the pictures. He's like, what is in the bottle? He's like, no, you better not ask any more questions. I'm just gonna tell you. And you see the most let me just call it apple juice. He was powering out his apple juice. I hope you guys enjoyed this build in the classroom. So I'm petted.